Hi everybody, I'm here to give you a demo on Aiosell revenue management and all-in-one hotel marketing system. So Aiosell is a completely automated pricing as well as revenue management system that can integrate with either existing PMSs or existing channel managers and gives you a complete automated pricing as well as a hotel marketing system. So without wasting much time, let me just get ahead straight at the features. So here, as you will see here, this is an example of automated pricing. So here you can see the number of times the price changes between a certain time is completely dynamic, completely automated, and it can happen at any times during a day. In many days, we have the prices for a particular room type change as many as 10, 20 times a day. We'll come to the reasons about how these prices are getting changed. But before we do that, let me just show you this in action. So this is a screen that is similar to what you would call a traditional channel management screen. On the x-axis, you see the dates as well as the days. You have the total available rooms. On the y-axis, you have each of the rooms along with the rate plans of each of these rooms. As you see, the rate or the price for each room type at a particular time is completely dynamic, and these prices change any number of times during a day. So we could be logging here exactly 10 minutes from now, and some of these prices would have changed by themselves. At any time, we can keep the system on a fully automated mode, or we can decide to override these prices. So for whatever reason, I realized that I don't want to sell this room for this price and I want to sell it at a different price. I can just change the price and I can hit publish, and the prices would be overridden for any particular day. So while we believe that automated pricing should be practiced for maximum amount of time, we do believe that 10 to 15% of the cases you may need to override the price because of conditions that a system, an automated intelligent system, cannot possibly understand. So this is the automated pricing. Let us jump to the backend to figure out how these prices are getting calculated. Right. So there are many technical parameters here that I will cover. And so the first of these parameters is an occupancy based pricing. So here on the x-axis, we have the total number of rooms. For this particular hotel, we have 40 rooms. On the y-axis, we have the total prices. So the key idea being that every room should be sold at a different price. As the number of rooms increase, the price keeps on increasing. We can actually set this graph up however we want. So some hotels may have a much steeper graph and some may have a much flatter graph. That will depend on the context of the hotel as well as the market that we operate in. This is the occupancy-based pricing, which is the core pricing methodology for the algorithm. However, there are many other factors that we add to the pricing calculation. And let me just clarify that all these factors work together with each other using some kind of artificial intelligence and machine learning to decide the best price that a room should be sold at. So the next factor that we come in is called a lead time or a day-wise factor. So here, what we see is the number of days during which the price of a particular hotel is kept truly dynamic. So in this case, because this is a business hotel, we have defined 45 days, which means from today till 45 days from now, every day the price of the room will be fully dynamic, which means it can be completely automated. And we can set this booking window to as high as we want. In some hotels, we even set it for 365 days, which means that every day of the year, the rates are fully dynamic. Here, what we see is the scaling factor of rates. The farther we are on day 35, 1.25 means we scale the rate up by 25%. As we come closer and closer to day one, the price reduces. So we can systematically lower the price little by little until we hit the last day. So this is the lead time and day-wise factor. We also have a last minute time-based factor. This is typically done for hotels that pretty much sell between 24 to 48 hours. A lot of hotels have started selling rooms within the last 48 hours. So we can define either a today or a tomorrow as a factor. And we can say that at certain time points, so here in this case, we have specified time triggers at 10 a.m., 12 p.m., 2 p.m., 4 p.m., and so on. So every 2 hours, depending on a certain occupancy percentage of the hotel, we want the price to keep scaling down by 2% every 2 hours. Now, these are configurable, so we can define the logic however we want, and we can want these prices to either go up or to go down, depending on time-based triggers, either for a 24-hour window or for a 48-hour window. So that was the time-based factor. The next factor we have is a weekday-based factor. So every day of the week can have a different demand. So here you'll see, because this is a business hotel, the Tuesdays and Wednesdays have a much higher demand. So we set up the price for Tuesday for 7% and on Wednesday for 5%. But for a Sunday, we scale it down by 10% because of lower occupancy. So each day of the week, the pricing can be scaled either up or down. Then what we have is something called a season or a date-wise factor. This factor can be used to scale the price up or down depending on particular date ranges. This could be done for a full season. Like in this case, we have done it for the May season due to the COVID crisis. But it could be done for long weekends. It could be done for a complete season. It could be done for New Year's or whatever time. And we can define a particular season based on dates and decide that the price would either scale up or down depending on the behavior of that season. We can also specify minimum and maximum rates. These rates can be specified either for the base rate or the lowest room category, or we can specify a complete rate plan wise minimum or maximum. So we can decide that each rate plan can have a minimum value or a maximum value. We can decide these at an overall level, and we can also decide the minimum and maximum rates from a date-wise perspective. So we can decide for a particular date range, like 10th of May to 15th of May, we want the price to have the rooms to have this much minimum and this much maximum. So this minimum and maximum can be done overall or for a date range value also. The next factor that I'm going to talk about is the overall demand scale. Now, the overall demand scale can be used to either scale all the prices up by a certain amount or down by a certain amount without changing the individual parameters that we just discussed about. So this is how we can actually increase the ARR of a particular hotel or decrease the ARR of a particular hotel. We also have something called an inventory reallocation. An inventory reallocation is a very important tactic that is currently used because we try to oversell more rooms of the lower category while try to minimize the inventory that we put on the higher category in order to overbook our lower category rooms and then auto upgrade those guests as they check in. So this percentages can be defined up front so that this entire overbooking of lower category rooms can be done in a truly automated manner. This can be done for each room type, or we can even decide that one particular room type we want to keep away from this automatic inventory reallocation. So all of these factors, as you've seen, then determine these prices that you see here. And as we say, these rates are fully dynamic. They can change any number of times. So here we've covered automated pricing in a quick nutshell. A lot of those prices have some machine learning and artificial intelligence parameters. A good question to ask here is that how do we know what parameter to set? So the correct answer is that these parameters are set based on 3 input factors. One is we always ask a hotel for certain insights about how a hotel manages these prices in the past to understand the context of how a particular hotel operates. Second is we have a lot of data analytics that we'll go into, which will give us a lot of insights into trends of a particular hotel, which we will then use to decide those factors. And the third is our team, because of our experience with working with hotels across the world, we work with almost 150 hotels located in 15 countries. The insights that we gather from all of that helps us understand the right way to sell different types of hotels. Now, this is obviously an iterative process that we work along with the hotel team to get these prices right. Before we move forward, we'll go into the analytics section. The analytics is a very important sort of half MIS and half performance reports for a particular hotel to understand the behavior of a hotel. So here you'll see the occupancy. So the occupancy for each particular month would be shown in terms of graphs. You'll see an ARR as well as a RevPAR. You see some low values here because of the COVID crisis, but we'll try to ignore that. We see total sales in terms of the total dollar sales for each of the months, along with the room nights for each of the months. We have a breakup of the channels through which those bookings came. So we have all the OTAs like Booking.com, Expedia, and any regional OTAs like we have Make My Trip. All of that both divided from the total amount as well as the room types, and it is also displayed in a table format if that is easier to read. So this is on the hotel performance. We also have hotel trends. Now this is very important data that is useful to decide which parameters to enter in our pricing algorithms. So here each hotel will exhibit a different pattern. It is very important to understand each hotel in its own context. Here we have lead time, so every hotel will have a different lead time. For example, this hotel, 35% of the bookings happen between 2 to 10 days, and about 30% of the bookings happen on the last day within 24 hours of check-in. So these are parameters that we often use to decide what pricing algorithm to set. Here we have length of stay. Here we have weekday usage. So we understand that on some days of the week, like Tuesday and Wednesday, the occupancy of this hotel is much higher than on certain days like the Sunday. We have the time of the bookings, so which time of the day the bookings happen more, which can help us set those time-based factors. We have occupancy of the rooms. We have which rooms get booked. We have cancellation percentages. We have the variability of rates along which the rooms are booked. We have certain other analytics factors like which meal plan, either it's breakfast included or rooms only, depending on each OTA or each channel of booking, as well as the payment modes. We have a lot of prepaid as well as a lot of postpaid bookings, so on and so forth. So here you see a lot of analytics and a lot of analysis that we have from the hotel that will help us decide, understand the hotel properly, and then set those pricing parameters. We also have something called a pickup report. A pickup report can be set for a particular date or of a particular date range. So here you can see that during the entire month of March up till May, the hotel picked up a total of 429 room nights at a total revenue, at a total ARR. Here you see which dates we picked up from. We can click on any of these dates to understand which channels the booking came from. We can actually do this from a date wise, or we can do this at a month wise. So we know which months of the year the pickup came for, or we can even segregate it based on channels. So we can understand which channels gave us the bookings depending on room nights, revenue, as well as ARR. Now, this is for the pickup for a particular hotel, depending on either one date or a certain date range. We also have something called a daily report. A daily report is something that is generated at the end of the day, and it is also delivered to the hotel owners and hotel management on email. Here we have basic parameters like last night's performance, how many rooms were unsold, ARR, RevPAR, the source of business, the pickup for that particular business, an overview of dynamic pricing, how many times the price changed. We have the competition hotels, which we will also cover a little bit in the Rate Shopper module. The reviews, which we'll also cover in the Rate Shopper module, as well as the key action items, if there are for any of the hotels. So this is on the analytics part. Now, before we move on, we also have all of this analytics at a group-wise level. So we have a lot of chain hotels. So when you have a group of hotels in your portfolio, you can actually measure a lot of these parameters at a group level. So here, for example, this particular group has about 8 hotels. And all these hotels, you can see their occupancy, at within a certain time period. You can see their ARR as well as their RevPAR. You can see the total sales as well as the total room nights. You can see the breakup from channels at a hotel wise, as from an overall sales as well as the room nights breakup, and the total sales as well as room nights in a table form. So a lot of these parameters are available to us both individually or at a chain level. So here you'll see each of the, from at a group level, you can calculate the pickup report for a particular chain. So here you have for a particular date, or you can decide for a date range how many rooms am I picking up for each of these particular hotels, either at the hotel wise, so I can click on any of them to see the source of these bookings, or I can see overall at a channel wise breakup of where these bookings are coming from. So this is on the analytics side. The next thing we have something very unique, which is called the OTA management. Here we are able to log directly into the extranets of key OTAs and pick up all individual bookings and break them down. So here we have something called OTA Bookings. We can break up each booking down to the rate, the meal plan, the tax, and the commission that we pay. So here you can actually click on any of these to get a voucher level information also. So here, for example, we can do that for booking.com or Make My Trip or Expedia or Agoda, and we can get these individual voucher levels, voucher details specific to each booking. So you can have a OTA booking level data. You can have OTA invoices. So we can track invoices from each of the key OTAs like Booking.com, Expedia, and Agoda. Our system will track whether these invoices are paid or not paid, and it will remind you to pay these invoices. If you click on any of them, the invoices actually are also pulled down to our system. We also have something very unique called the OTA Content. We currently do this for 4 main OTAs, where all of the extranet content that is typically visible in the extranet of the OTA is visible to us here in one screen. So things like the content score, the number of photos, the star ratings, the conversion ratios, the price quality score, review score, cancellation policy, all of that stuff that typically takes you a long time to log into each of the OTA extranets and figure out is presented to you in a simple, easy to use screen. You can see all of that information at once. You can calculate the total commissions. Because we are able to pull up booking level data from these OTAs, we can calculate the amount of commissions we pay to each of the OTAs within a certain time period. We also have the ability to calculate rate disparity. So you can see different portals and we can see what rates our system, our hotel is exhibiting on each of these portals. And if there is any disparity, it will actually display that. So this is a very unique OTA management feature that we have. The next feature that we'll discuss is competition and rate shopper. So here, let's go to an earlier time period. So we'll see much better data. And you'll see you can define up to 5 competing hotels. You can see the rates of your competition hotels, movement with your own hotels. You can see this at a graph view or a table view. We can also see all of your hotels compared to your competitor hotels across all OTAs in a simple grid. If you click on any of these, it actually takes you to the checkout screen, so that in the checkout screen, you can actually, it saves you a few clicks and you can just directly see what price is exhibited on each of these competition screens. So this is a very simple to use rate shopper, which keeps track of your competition rates. One important thing to keep in mind is that while we track your competition rates, we do not enter your competition rates as a pricing algorithm directly into your rate calculations, because we believe each hotel has a different context and it is not probably wise to use a competitor data to calculate your own rate. However, we should keep an eye on our competition, and that is why we track the competition rates. The next feature we'll talk about is reviews and reputation management. So our system comes with an inbuilt reviews and reputation management system. We pull up reviews from all key OTAs. and key channels like Google, TripAdvisor, Agoda, Booking.com, Expedia. For any time period, we can calculate each of the reviews can be pulled into our system. It gets sent to you as a notification on email or SMS, and it can calculate average scores and your ratings on each of these channels. You can actually see these reviews. Let me just pull back at a certain month so that we have more data. And you can see all the reviews from all the channels are pulled into in one screen. You can actually go from within our system and reply to those reviews. You can filter through those reviews and get a much more granular form of any channel that you want to understand, or you can search through those reviews. So the entire reviews and reputation management is built into our system as a combined, as an all-inclusive product. And that is why we call our system an all-in-one hotel marketing system. Okay, so the next feature that we'll talk about is a booking engine. This is a feature that we kind of put for some of our hotels which don't already have a booking engine. We are happy to work with other booking engines if a hotel already has an existing booking engine. This is a very simple to use booking engine that is connected to a payment gateway. The rates that are flown to all the OTAs are in sync with what is flown to a booking engine. You can book now, you can have discount codes, you can either have a payment gateway, you can pay at the hotel, or you can pay now. We have the ability to define a lot of coupons. So you can create coupons based on many parameters like length of stay, advance purchase, payment, blackout dates, so on and so forth. So this is a simple booking engine feature that we can use for hotels that don't have an existing booking engine. So this almost summarizes the entire presentation on Aiosell revenue management and all-in-one system. Just as a summary, we have the rates and inventory section where you see all the rates. You can also update the inventories manually from within the system. We can do bulk update of rates, inventory, minimum rates based on specific dates. We have a live booking section, which kind of tracks all the bookings that come in, similar to what a channel management screen does. We have analytics at an overall performance level. We have daily reports. We can have a trend analysis depending on many parameters that a hotel has. We can see the dynamic pricing for a particular date or for future dates. We have a pickup report. We can calculate the total amount of pickup. Then we have OTA management. So we have OTA bookings, OTA invoices, OTA content, so on and so forth. We have competition rate shopper. We have reviews and reputation management. We have the ability to manage at a group chain level, and we have the ability to plug in a booking engine with live coupon support. So this sums up the entire demo of Aiosell automated pricing and revenue management system. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact our team and submit a form on our website, and we'd be happy to get in touch with you and talk further. Thank you so much for your time, and hope that was